So I think we finished about half the lessons.
Economics.
No, she's economics,
Yeah.
but your mother said to do English today. So what
Yeah.
should I do? Will we do economics or English? Your choice.
Uh, let's do economics only.
Okay, fine, economics then. Uh, just 1 minute. Oh no, wait. We finished chapter 10, right? Supply.
Right.
So we have to go on to chapter 11. No,
Yes.
11 or what? Some we told you sent me the TMA, right? I have it here, right?
Right.
It's lesson 14, money and its role.
Yes.
Yeah, so lesson 14. Okay. And let me record this so I can send it to you, mother.
Okay.
Mm, it's recording. Okay. Lesson 14. Okay. There's some background noise. Hope it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Okay. So, see, we already have an idea of money and its role, right? So,
Right.
we buy and sell things when money is the medium. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, so, now what does it say? We'll read it, right? The word money generates a lot of interest. Yes.
Yes.
In today's busy life, money has occupied a very important role. Mm. We need money to buy various types of goods in order to satisfy our wants. Okay?
Okay.
Basically, it's that. Basically, fundamentally, is that we need money to buy various types of goods in order to satisfy our wants. So, wants means like you have a need to eat, we have a need to drink, and so many things, right? So,
Right.
all the goods in the market are bought with the help of money. Similarly, we need money to avail various services such as transport. It can be a private vehicle or it can be public transport, right?
Right.
Communication, phones, internet, TV, everything. Communication, education, schools, colleges, health, that is doctors, clinics, medicines, entertainment, going to the films, malls, home deliveries even, and so on. So everything, right?
Right.
As a buyer, we pay money to buy goods and services, and as a seller, we receive money by selling them. Normally, we pay or receive money in the form of paper currency and coins. But do you know that in ancient days, people used to exchange good for good? So now we're going to history, right? They used to
Right.
exchange goods for goods. This was called barter system. With passing of time, money replaced barter system. Why? To know all these, continue reading this lesson. So now going to the history of trade, barter system, 14.1. In the past, when people were living in small societies and there was not much development as you see today, they were helping each other through barter system as mutually benefit one another. So what is the meaning of barter system? So this you have to keep in mind for the exam. Barter system means exchange of one kind of goods and services for another kind of goods and services. There was no involvement of money in barter system. So I'll give the example. When one good is exchanged for another good without the use of money, we call it trade through barter system. This was happening in ancient civilizations. So some examples of barter system are given below. In the past, traders from Europe used to trade goods such as fur and crafts in return for perfumes and silk from the eastern part of the world, right? So
Right.
one type of good exchanged for another. So people from Europe had fur from animals like bear, deer, and so on. And they also had various types of crafts like, wood furniture and utensils. And they used to exchange these for perfumes and silk from the east, that is Arabia and places like that, right?
Right.
In many tribal societies in India, families used to exchange labor services in return for food and other labor services. So, uh, for example, if a family needs laborers to harvest crop, then another family would come and provide the service with the promise they'll get the same type of help in return for harvesting crop or roofing house, etc. Right? So it was physical labor. One
Right.
family needed help on the farm, then another family would come, and the first family would offer physical labor in return, like harvesting crops on the farm of the other person, roofing a house, any physical labor, right?
Right.
This type of practice is still prevalent today in remote tribal areas of India. So it would be interesting to see where this is still prevalent, where it's still used. People in various occupations, namely farmers, artisans. Artisans are like carpenters, cobblers, all those who make steel utensils, all those are known as artisans.
Right.
Incidentally, artists are those who paint, draw, fine arts. They're artists. Even film, music, they're all artists, right?
Right.
Artisans are those like they use tools to make goods. So those are artisans. Then we had cobblers, carpenters, etc. Used to exchange the products and services among themselves. So the farmer would exchange crops with the cobblers would exchange footwear and things like that, and so on. Okay.
Okay.
So in text questions 14.1, define barter system. It's there on page 1. Page 1. Why is it page 1? Okay, anyway, it's on page 1, chapter 14, money and its role. It's in bold. Barter system means exchange of one kind of goods and services for another kind of goods and services. There is no involvement of money in barter system. That is the answer to question 1. Question 2, give two examples of barter system. So, traders from Europe used to trade goods such as fur and crafts in return for perfumes and silk from the eastern part, and people in various occupations, namely farmers, artisans, cobblers, carpenters, etc., used to exchange their products and services among themselves. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Next, 14.2, need for money. So, why did money come in, right? They could have continued
Right.
like this. So, why did this medium come in? Medium means it is the path to which trade is conducted nowadays. So, why did money come in? The barter system as described above is not prevalent now, and in today's world, nobody pays any goods in exchange for another good. Everybody pays money to buy goods and services. So the following question arises: why is the barter system not prevalent now? Why did the need for money arise? And the answer to these questions lie in the fact The barter system has many demerits as described below. So they ask you, what are the demerits of the barter system? So you have to keep these in mind, right?
Right.
So 14.2.1 demerits of barter system. The demerits of barter system are as follows. A common problem with the barter system is lack of the double coincidence of wants. So this is in technical terms, let's say, lack of double coincidence of wants. Hmm? What does this
Right.
mean? Double coincidence of wants means that if one wants to exchange some good with another person, then the latter must also be willing to exchange his good with the first person. Take, for example, a person who wants cloth and he has rice with him to offer in return. Then he exchanges rice for cloth with another person who has cloth and who also wants rice. In practical life, such situation may or may not arise, right? So the person who wants one good may live very far away, and when you go to him, he may not be willing to exchange. So that is called lack of double coincidence. So there must be a coincidence. Both must need the goods, two types of goods at the same time. And that is coincident by chance, right?
Right.
If the person who has cloth does not want rice, then exchange of rice for cloth will never take place and both the individuals cannot satisfy their wants. This is an example of double coincidence of wants. So barter system will work where there is double coincidence of wants. Otherwise, it will not work. A related problem of barter system was that one had to spend a lot of time in searching for the person who was ready to exchange. Right? So the person who has rice has to find the person who has cloth, and that person who has cloth must be ready to exchange. However, in the early period of human civilization, this was a very difficult task as there was no proper facility with regard to transport and communication. Transport means there were no roads, right?
Right.
And there was no communication also, no letters even, not even, there was no way of communicating. So you have to go and search, you may or may not find the person, right?
Right.
Lack of division of goods. Certain goods are not physically divisible into small pieces. Suppose a person possesses a cow and he wants items such as cloth, food, grains, etc. Then how much of a cow can be traded for cloth? How much of a cow can be traded for food, grains? It was very difficult to determine because a cow cannot be divided into several pieces. So that is the second thing, demerit of the barter system, lack of division of goods. I have to give the example also, right?
Right.
Because of lack of divisibility of goods under barter system, it was difficult to equate the values of different goods which were traded because of lack of common unit of measurement. So how much of a cow can be is equivalent to a meter of cloth? There's no common unit of measurement, right?
Right.
Taking the example in the previous paragraph, it will be very difficult to determine the amount of cow required to trace to some specific amount of food grains. Suppose you want 10 kg of wheat, how much of the cow or some yards of cloth, right? Also, it sounds absurd. It sounds absurd. How much cow being exchanged for food grains or cloth? Okay. This happens because a cow can never become a common measure of value. This problem is same for all other goods, right?
Right.
So fourth one, another problem of barter system is that a person must store a large volume of his own good in order to exchange for his or her desired goods with others on day-to-day basis. So suppose a person grows wheat on the farm, he must store at least minimum of 50, you know, 500 kg of wheat in order to keep exchanging wheat for other types of goods. That's what the example is given. Take the example of farmers produce wheat. Obviously, he will use some amount of wheat for his own consumption and keep some amount to buy to get other necessary items by trading with others. If he wants furniture, then he will go to carpenters willing to trade furniture in return of wheat. Similarly, if he wants cloth, then he has to trade with the weaver who is ready to give cloth by receiving wheat and so on. So the farmer must construct a warehouse first to keep a stock of his wheat in order to carry out the transactions at the time of need for his desired good. But constructing and maintaining a warehouse was itself a very difficult task in the early days of civilization. So imagine storing 500 kg of wheat. You need to keep the rats away, you need to keep it aired, you need to keep it free from influence of sunlight, water, you need a barn. So maintaining it, constructing it was also very difficult. Okay? Uh, so, just a minute, I'm going to the other room. Okay?
Okay.
So, okay. Next, it says, finally, a major problem of water system is that a good loses its original quality and value if it's stored for a long period. Many goods such as salt, vegetables, etc. are perishable. Perishable means they decompose with time, right?
Right.
Okay. Right. Hence, goods were never accepted for trading in future because they could not be stored, they could not be used as store of value. This also implies that no good could be used for the purpose of lending or borrowing. So lending, you can't lend, 10 kgs of wheat. You can't lend 10 kgs of salt. You can't borrow also. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Due to the above problem, the barter system could not continue for long as human civilization progressed. People realized there has to be some common medium of exchange which can be easily carried, stored, and used to express value of a good. So that becomes money. What is money? Money is a common medium of exchange which can be easily carried, stored, and used to express value of a good. Right? Okay?
Okay, sir.
So money came into being. Hence, the need for money arose due to the failure of barter system. Next question, 14.2. Define double coincidence of wants. Double coincidence of wants means that, okay, uh, double coincidence of wants means that if one wants to exchange some good with another person, then the latter must also be willing to exchange his good with the first person. Okay?
Okay, sir.
I can give the example also. Suppose a person wants rice and he has cloth, and the person who has cloth must be willing to exchange his cloth for rice, which was not always possible. So there is double coincidence of wants. Second, you have two difficulties associated with barter system. Two difficulties, you can just name them. One is a double coincidence of wants. That's the first one. Second is lack of division of goods. You cannot divide a cow, for example, into parts to get uh, cloth or wheat. Second disadvantage is and there is no common unit of measurement, right?
Right.
Okay. Then 14.3 definition and functions of money. So, see, whatever you study later in your higher classes, right? It's based on this.
Right.
You must get all this correctly. Okay? These are all
Okay,
the
sir.
foundational facts for your higher studies, right?
Right.
So money is defined as something which is generally accepted by society as a medium of exchange and which can act as unit of account, can store value, and be used for repayments of debts. So that is the definition of money. It is generally accepted by society as a medium. Medium is it comes between the buyer and the seller, okay, or
Okay,
between the
sir.
borrower and the lender, right? So it
Right.
can be used as a unit of account, can store value, so it has some value, okay, and
Okay.
be used for repayments of debt. The functions of money can be known from its definition. So the definition was given above. So what are the functions of money? They're given below. One is medium of exchange. The primary function of money is that it acts as a medium of exchange. This means that people can buy or sell goods and services with the help of money. So money is the medium. Medium means on one side you have the seller, on the other side you have the buyer, and money is in the middle. So the buyer pays, the seller receives, and the seller sells the goods, and the buyer receives the goods. That is what you mean by medium. It comes between two things. It can be a buyer and a seller, borrower and a debtor, and so on. Okay?
Okay.
Money is received by the seller who sells the goods. Money is paid by the buyer who buys the goods from the seller. Example, you pay rupees 10 to buy a pen. The seller receives 10 rupees from you by selling the pen. So the pen is exchanged for 10 rupees. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Measure of value. Another fundamental function of money is it serves as a unit of account or common measure of value. The value of good is determined by multiplying its price with the quantity, right? Common measure of value. So if you buy one pen for 10 rupees, for 100 rupees you can buy 10 pens. So the quantity sold depends on the value of the good, right? So it serves as a unit of account or common measure of value. Money serves as a common measure of value, right?
Right, sir.
Since the price is expressed in monetary units, the value of good is also expressed in monetary terms. So you can say the pen is worth 10 rupees, but what exactly is the value of the pen? The value of the pen is determined by the buyer. See, the buyer can use it to do anything. He can use it to write an essay, or he can use it to, write accounts. See, you cannot determine the value by the use of the pen. So, what money saves all that effort of thinking. It says you can say buy the pen for 10 rupees. You can use it for what you want. So, what does it mean? The value of a good is also expressed in monetary terms, right?
Right, sir.
Okay. So that the price of rice be 20 rupees per kilogram. One bag full of rice weighs 25 kilograms. Then the value of the bag of rice is 20 into 25 is equal to 500 rupees. So store of value, money also acts as a store of value. How? As medium of exchange, you can pay money to buy goods. So you can store money. This means if you have money, you have the power to purchase a good or a service. So The more money you have, the more goods and services you can buy. So money has purchasing power. Uh, okay.
Okay, sir.
The value of the good is contained in that purchasing power. Hence, value of good is indirectly stored in the money you hold. So you can buy a pen or you can buy anything, but the value of what you buy is stored in that money, right?
Right, sir.
Similarly, as a seller of good, you receive the money, which means value of good you sold comes back to you through money. So you're not just giving it away, like in the barter system. The value comes back to you in the form of money. So if the pen is sold for 10 rupees, the
Right.
seller gets 10 rupees, equivalent to the value of the pen, right?
Right, sir.
Example, Sushila has got some mangoes which she sells to buyer for 250 rupees. This means the value of 250 rupees was exchanged. The buyer who purchased the mangoes has the purchasing power to give 250 rupees is value. Hence, a value of 2 rupees with 250 was stored in the money received by Sushila as a seller. Sushila could not have stored mangoes, but she can definitely store money which has stored the value of which has stored the value of 250 rupees. Right? Did you follow that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the fourth function of money is making payments in future. We all indulge in lending and borrowing activities. Suppose your friend requests you to give him 300 rupees to purchase a book because he does not have any money at present. He promises to pay back the money after a week. If you agree to this and actually give him the money, then you'll be called lender and your friend will be called a borrower. As a lender, you can also charge some interest on the money you have lent to your friend. If you charge no interest, then your friend will pay you 300 rupees after a week. If you charge 1 rupee as interest, then your friend will have to pay you 301 rupees after a week. Like your friend, there are many people who want to borrow money today to satisfy their present needs with the condition that they will settle the payment along with interest at some future date as agreed with the lender. So what does interest mean? Interest means the thing, the effort. It is the value of the effort the lender has made in letting you borrow the money. So if he lends you 300 rupees and you charge 1 rupee as interest, that 1 rupee, 301 rupees, 300 plus 1 rupee means, the value of
Right.
the effort he has made in, lending you the money, right?
Right.
This payment in future is acceptable in money only. We can also say the borrower has deferred the payment under certain condition. Deferred means he has put off the payment, postponed the payment under a certain condition that he'll pay you interest or he'll pay you back after a week. So money has acted as a standard of deferred payment. Right? Deferred payment means postponed payment. Let us
Right.
think for a while that your friend gives you the book which he has purchased instead of 300 or 301 rupees. Then will you accept it? Most probably not. So you don't need the book. You need, okay. Because after a week, the book may have lost some value as it has not remained the same new book. So if you buy a good from the shop, uh, even after you buy it, one day after you buy it, the value will go down. Electronics is like that. Okay?
Right.
If you
Okay.
buy one radio, next day it will be worth less. But money will always be acceptable in a future date as it has stored the value. Okay?
Okay, sir.
So in text question 14.3, Define medium of exchange. Medium of exchange. Uh, so medium of exchange means that people can buy or sell goods and services with the help of money. Money is received by the seller who sells the good. Money is paid by the buyer who pays the good, who buys the good from the seller. So that is medium of exchange. Give the meaning of value of a good. Now this, okay, value
Okay,
of
sir.
a good. Uh, value of a good is determined by multiplying its price with the quantity sold in the market, right? So
Right.
1 kg of rice costs 20 rupees, then 10 kgs of rice will cost 200 rupees. So that is the value of the good. Value is 200 rupees. Is determined by
Yes,
multiplying
sir.
its price with the quantity. 1 kg is worth 20, 10 kg is worth 200. Okay, so that is the value for good. Okay,
Okay, sir.
so 14.4 types of money. 14.4.1 paper currency and coins. What does money look like? What is the form of money? So we already know this paper currency. Nowadays you have plastic currency, that is digital payments, right?
Right.
Incidentally, do you know why the government has introduced digital payments, UPI, on such a large scale? Do you know one of the reasons? It is because, see, up to this time, these vegetable vendors who sell the vegetable, auto rickshaw drivers, they need not have to pay taxes, right? Nobody can tax
Right.
them because they earn so. But now, what has happened is, it came in the news recently that, vegetable seller, he sells vegetables only. But apparently, according to that news article, the value of the tax he has to pay, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs. Only the tax, annual tax, income tax. You know how they do that? Because they can track these transactions. It goes into central server. All the payments made to one account go to a central server, so they can find out whose bank account, where he lives. Okay, through the
Okay, sir.
Aadhaar, KYC, and all that. KYC.
No, sir.
So you have to link your bank account with your Aadhaar card. Aadhaar card
Okay.
gives your residential address, right?
Right.
And your age and who your parents are and where they lived and so on. So basically they can track you. So they can find out how much money is going you're exchanging. So eventually, after some time, everyone will be taxed. So the government becomes richer, right? That's one of the things. See, you're just not just making a payment. Once it becomes government, most of the time, much of the time it's taxed, right?
Right.
Okay. So anyway, that's incidentally. So here we're saying, reading that over the years, the form of money has changed. You must have read in history that during the days of kings, people used to trade by using gold coins, silver coins, copper coins, etc. Before that, in ancient days, in some places, people used to hold money in the form of cattle, salt, etc. Right? And even in those days, there were taxes, land tax, and so on. There were so many things going on in the kingdom, right?
Right, sir.
Uh, so in those days, wealth was measured how many cattle you had, how many cows, goat, sheep, salt, etc. That is how wealth was
Okay.
measured. Nowadays, nobody holds cattle or salt to buy or sell goods and services. Keeping cattle is not feasible and requires huge space. and special animal, cowshed, right?
Right, sir.
Salt is perishable and cannot be stored for a long time for the purpose of exchange. Hence, after so many experiments over centuries, now people keep money in the form of paper, notes, and coins which are easy to carry. In India, we have paper notes in the denomination of. This is written in 2011, around 2011, because in one of the lessons we saw the year 2011. So at
Right,
that time, the money in the denomination of 1 rupee was there. Paper notes in the denomination of 1 rupee, 2 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, 100, 500, and 1,000. Nowadays, you don't have the 1,000 rupees, right?
right,
Yeah, 1 rupee coins, 2 rupee coins, 5 rupee, 10 rupee coins, 10 rupees your notes, 20 rupees notes, 50 rupee notes, 100 rupee notes, and 500 rupee notes. Normally, they're called currency notes and named as rupee singular or rupees plural. Symbol of rupee is this, which is like an R with the horizontal line. So this symbol of the rupee, it was actually obtained through a competition. And there was a student at one of the design colleges, National Institute of Design, and some national unit, national, institution. Like you have many national institutions, like National Institute of Technology and National Institute, so IITs, IIMs. So like that, there was a National Institute of Design, and one student submitted this, and it was accepted. So now it's the accepted symbol for rupee, right? So if you look at the pound symbol, pound sterling, the UK currency, British currency, right? That is an L with a horizontal line. So this is like a Ra. Hindi script, this is Ra with a horizontal line, right? So that is rupee, right?
right,
Money is paid by buyer or received by seller in the form of currency notes. For smaller denomination, we have coins called paisa, which is 50 paisa. 50 paisa is equal to one half of a rupee. Now coins of 10 rupee denominations are in circulation in India. You should know that currency notes and coins which are in circulation are guaranteed by the government of India. Otherwise, anybody can make and misuse them. So only the government can issue currency notes. Otherwise, I can also print currency, right? And I mean, anybody can print currency or make coins, mint coins. So it can
right,
easily be misused. Okay, not that I'm doing it. So otherwise, anybody can make and misuse is currency. So how does the government of India, you know, what is the basis on which the government of India says the value of this currency is 1 rupee or 10 rupees? Partly it's because of the amount of metal in the coin, right? So the amount of metal in 10 rupees is actually worth 10 rupees, around 10 rupees, the brass and the stainless steel and all that. But the basis of that is the amount of gold in the, treasury. So gold, that has been superseded now. But in the past, they used to use gold as the amount of gold. It could be 10 tons, 20 tons, 50 tons, 100 tons. So depending on the amount of gold the central government has, that would determine the value of the, paise or the rupee or the dollar or the cent or the penny or the pound, like that, right?
right, sir.
Now coins of 10 rupee denominations are in circulation in India. You should know that the currency notes and coins which are in circulation are guaranteed by Government of India. Otherwise, anybody, okay, not just me, anybody can make and misuse them. Remember that currency notes and coins of India are valid only in India and not in other countries. So, even if you go to neighboring Pakistan, right, there you have the
Right.
Pakistani rupee, right? And
Right.
if you go to, so it's not valid in other countries. So every current country has its own currency. If you visit other countries, then you have to exchange Indian currency with the currency of the country you are using, you're visiting. So you may think like that the rupee is very valuable if you visit a country like Japan, because you see, 1 rupee is something like 1,000 yen. Yen is the unit of currency in Japan. So 1 rupee is equal to 1,000 yen. So if you exchange 100 rupees, you will have lots of money in Japan. Well, that's not the case. If you visit Japan, everything costs, like if you pay 10 rupees here, it
Yeah.
may cost a bit more in terms of rupees. So you're just exchanging, right?
Right.
Uh, so another thing I've heard, about visiting other countries, like if you live um, in a place like the UK, right? Now,
Right.
if you, uh, if you buy something for 100 rupees here, okay,
Yeah.
it's like earning 100 rupees and spending. But there, the same thing you get for, you have to earn 100 pounds.
Okay.
So, see now what happens, that's what they said, I'm not sure about this. Anyway, so, you see, like if 1 rupee is equal to 100 rupees, 120 rupees equal to 1 pound. So if you want to earn 100 pounds, it will be something like 12,000 rupees.
Right.
And uh, that's a value. What you get for 100 rupees here, you will get for like 10 pounds there. So that is really, it also depends on amount of effort the person puts, right? So anyway,
Right.
there's all sorts of things associated with money. Anyway, we have to keep in mind what we're reading here. So see, you have to exchange the Indian currency with the currency of the country you're visiting. So if you go to UK and you have 12,000 rupees in India, it'll be worth 100 pounds there. So you can hardly
Okay.
buy anything for 100 pounds, right?
Right, sir.
So it's like that. But you can't buy anything here for 100 rupees. So there's disadvantage and advantage. And we can't get anything for 100 rupees. You can't even buy, you know. But actually, it is worth, because I'll tell you a story. I
Yeah.
used to work in a college in Jayanagar, right?
Right.
So I, so I could go there and come back on 100 rupees worth of petrol. And what I
Yes.
did in the college, I used to take 3 or 4 classes every day.
Right.
So, see, that is serving society, 3 or 4 classes, like the classes on tenses, second PU lessons, first PU lessons. So you're doing a lot of work on
Yeah.
just 100 rupees.
Okay.
So it has some value. Can't say, 100 rupees is worthless, because even today, I mentioned this to you, mother. Madam, can you give me the price of my pass, monthly pass, 1,200. So 1,200 may not seem like a lot. See, but I
Yeah.
used it to come to your place. I took 1 or 2 offline classes. Then every day I go to, RT Nagar, and I take classes there, all for 1 month.
Yeah.
See, it's not actually worthless. It is worth something, and if you can buy lots of things for 100 rupees actually. For example,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, right? Just saying. So they say, I mean, I read one philosopher says the fruits eaten temperately need not make us ashamed of our appetite. Means if you go to a hotel, you buy,
Yeah.
let's say, a plate of idli and vada. It'll easily come to 60, 70 rupees.
Yes.
And if you buy something else like a cup of coffee, it'll come to around 100, right?
Right.
But for the same 100, if you buy 1 kg of banana, right? That is the
Right.
long banana, pachbad as they say. And a half kg of grapes, it will come to 100 rupees,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
you can eat well on 100 rupees. You can
Yes.
live, I mean, the main thing is shelter, food, clothing, shelter.
Yeah.
Shelter is the main thing. That easily goes into crores and, but the other two, food and clothing, can easily be obtained. If you save 100 rupees, you can do a lot of things. Anyway, those are some of the points. You don't really have to, keep them in mind. We just, what experienced was money.
Right.
Not that 100 rupees is worthless or, like, so anyway, we'll read the next part. It says, the name of the currency of some of the countries of the world is given below. Currency in USA is called dollar with the symbol S with the vertical line. Current European currency is called euro having symbol E with the two horizontal lines. Currency in United Kingdom is called pound sterling having the symbol L with the horizontal line. In Japan, the currency is called the yen having symbol Y. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So in text question 14.1, give the meaning of currency note. So you don't really have to read this. Currency note means it's the paper currency printed by the government.
Yeah.
Its value is determined by the number printed on it, right?
Right.
And it's called the rupee. And you can also mention the currency of the US is dollar. The currency of Europe is called the euro and so on. Okay?
Okay, sir.
What you have learned, you can read that. Terminal questions. You said you'd answer the terminal questions of the previous two chapters, but you haven't. Okay, so you go over them, right? You keep on revising till the day of the exam. And as I said, these are all really valuable because, see, so many things associated with money which we're not learnt about in the lesson, like business. Business is so many types of, uh, you know, so many things go on in business, but all of them are based on money. So these are the facts you need to know about money. And the more you study in your higher classes, will build upon this, right?
Right.
Economics in first PU, economics in second PU, commerce, BCom, and so on. All the basis of all that is this, right?
Right.
So you revise till the day of the exam, so you
Yeah.
get a firm foundation. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so we'll stop there.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, and we'll see you
Thank you,
tomorrow.
sir. Bye. Good night.
Bye.